Hello, how you guys doing? Welcome to the Messy Sweet Spot. I'm your host Gigi, and I have more information to give to you. It looks like Prince, rest in peace, is talking from the grave. He has given us so much information. In this video, we're going to talk all about it. How Prince said this. He says, before you get to expose all the elites, before you get to expose all of Hollywood, they will take you out. People are stating that Diddy is dying. If you do not believe me, just take a look at this video by Lionel B. Show. He is notorious on YouTube. He known to bring nothing but the facts. And if you see the title, Diddy is dying. And people are stating that Jay-Z might be behind it. We have heard these stories that Jay-Z wants to be the only one standing. But people are saying it's just not Jay-Z, but the puppet master. They say Jay-Z is nothing but a puppet, but the puppet masters that don't want to be seen also want Diddy gone because they feel that he knows too much. And oftentimes, when you are in these devious circles, when you know too much, it's time to cut you loose. And you know what I mean by cutting you loose. They also tell me that Diddy, he is begging Donald Trump to pardon him, offering Donald Trump $50 million. Okay, so I want to play this clip, then I want to go into Prince, where he gives warning and he tells the warning signs when they're about to take you out of here. And people are saying they're seeing those same warning signs when it comes to Diddy. All right, so let's hear this first really quickly. And this video is titled Diddy is Dying. I'm not going to play the full version, but just a snippet. Okay.
Now peeps, big homie CC, a well-known celebrity bodyguard, stopped by the Lionel B Show to talk about the dark things he's seen while guarding some of the top celebrities in the industry. This information is absolutely shocking. Now be prepared for this jaw-dropping interview as we talk about Diddy's never-before-heard-of zesty activities, Jamie Foxx nasty wild parties, and Busta Rhymes being a super zest monster.
Whoa. That's a lot, but let's fast forward and go to Prince, okay? And let's see what they have to say. This video talks and tells a tale of Prince giving warning signs. He was about to expose the elites in Hollywood, and they took him off, and people are saying they are preparing to do the same thing to Diddy. Let's listen.
I know a lot of y'all have been wondering if there was any connection between Prince and Diddy and all the things Prince was exposing in the music industry. And allegedly, there actually was some sort of weird connection. One, because of the deal Diddy had with Warner Brothers, the record label Prince was fighting for doing the same thing Diddy did for years. Profit off the artists without giving them a dime and blackballing them for exposing him.
It became such a big deal back then is ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. And I did all the work. I created it, so I felt like it should belong to me. That said, the companies felt otherwise. And they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. And I say, well, I understand that. It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist. And that's kind of the situation we're in right today. They're not going to exist. But it's not like we're against them or anything like that. The idea is that we find better ways of working with one another. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Number two, Prince actually lent his house to Diddy for his parties, but he never attended the parties himself because allegedly Prince had his suspicions about what Diddy was doing with the freak-offs.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Number 3, Prince's estate was also involved in a lawsuit with Jay-Z, who happened to be very tight with Diddy before his lawsuits. And the issue was that Jay-Z was distributing Princess's music on Tidal illegally. Well, unfortunately, it never ends well for the people who expose the likes of Jay-Z and Diddy, and record labels like Warner and Prince tried to warn us. Get seated, loves, because things are about to get even more insane with all this Diddy madness. You see, the thing about Prince is that when it came to ownership of and control over his music, Prince waged a career-long battle against any company that he felt stood in the way of artists' rights and money. And allegedly, he paid the ultimate price for that: death. Whether Warner Brothers was involved with having him unalived or not is still up for debate, but a lot of fans definitely think that they were involved in his death. For a bit of background, Prince was signed to Warner Music in 1977 when he was just 18 years old. And even though the albums he released between 1978 and 1981 did not do that well, he was kept on the label as he was regarded as a musician that reflected well on Warner, which at the time was a company that appeared to invest long-term in serious talent. In 1982, 1 year after MTV launched, Prince released more music, and he went top 10 in the US for the first time and became part of a new breed of musicians who understood the power of the music video as a way to market an artist and build their own iconography and mythology. At this point, fans were copying his look, and by 1984, with the release of Purple Rain, he was arguably the biggest and certainly the most exciting pop star on the planet. Now, since Prince was becoming a greater artist, he was able to set up his own label, Paisley Park Records, which was part funded by Warner, which also handled its distribution. But he started realizing that he was getting less than he deserved, and so he started fighting for his rights. I'm sure he thought it would just be as easy as telling Warner Brothers that he wanted out, but that was hardly the case. Warner Brothers frustrated him because that's what record labels do. Then in the build-up to the release of the Gold Experience, Prince and Warner were at loggerheads over both money and his music, so he decided to take the battle public by appearing with the word slave written on the side of his face. His argument was that he was signed to Warner, and they, as a result, owned and controlled his name as well as any music released under that name. He also dramatically changed his name to that of the symbol and was referred to as Symbol or Squiggle, or the artist formerly known as Prince. For some time, the battle with Warner became worse, and in 1999, in a Paper Mag interview, Prince even spoke about leaving the company, saying, "I wanted to buy my masters back from Warner Brothers. They said no, so I'm going to re-record them, all of them. Now you will have 2 catalogs with pretty much exactly the same music, except mine will be better, and you can either give your money to WB, the big company, or to NPG. You choose." In addition, he also spoke a lot about how the labels controlled him and other artists in many other interviews and at award shows and so on.
Well, it's not your game. You didn't make the rules, so everything comes hard. And as long as you're signed to a contract, you're going to take a minority share of the winnings. A select few of us will do well. The majority will not. So as a people, we'll be considered a minority. But stop. Let's take a moment and look at yourselves. There's nothing minor about you. You are a blessed people. You're the most talented on earth, and you are still grateful. That is why upon winning in their game, you always thank God. Tonight, I would like to ask one favor of you. Imagine what we'll all be like in our own game. Peace and love for one another.
Prince was so serious about standing on business that in a move to reclaim his art on the internet in 2007, he announced he was going to take action against YouTube, eBay, and the Pirate Bay for unauthorized use of his music. Well, Prince eventually regained ownership of his name, and he worked out some sort of deal with Warner. But not long after that, he died under very suspicious circumstances. For those who recall, when Prince died, the story was that he died at the age of 57 after being found unresponsive at his estate in Minnesota. At the time, health officials determined Prince died of an accidental fentanyl OD after unknowingly taking counterfeit Vicodin laced with a highly potent synthetic opioid. And he was found in an elevator, the same elevator he called the devil.
That, kind of spooked me about it all.
What?
Was, he has a song called Let's Go Crazy.
Yeah.
And it says, "Don't let the elevator bring us down." One time when I was with him privately, he said, "You know what the elevator is, right?"
No.
I said, "No, what's the elevator?" He said, "Well, the elevator is the devil." right? It scared me. I don't like to talk like that, but he said that. And so for me, it was like really haunting when I read that he was found in an elevator.
Of course, his death never made sense to anyone because nobody could believe that the famously clean-living Prince died of a painkiller OD.
Health problems?
That I don't know, right? What I know is that he was really health conscious. He was a vegan. He didn't abuse alcohol. I didn't know of him drugs. He worked out, so, that also really concerned me because it made me think that, wow, so you mean you do all these things to take care of yourself and you die so young?
There were also reports that Prince was quite unwell in the weeks leading up to his death and that he even OD'd before. Apparently, Prince had been showing serious health problems within the previous weeks, having canceled shows and making an emergency landing while returning home where he got a dose of anti-opiate. But people also said that if that was the case, why wasn't he under the care of a physician after allegedly ODing less than a month prior and clearly being in poor health for some time? The fact that Prince was not being treated by a doctor was very odd, as it seemed to be likely that to obtain tour dates, there would have to be an understanding that he would be capable of performing to prevent unexpected cancellations, especially at larger venues. Something else is that Prince knew they were coming for him, just like the machine has been doing over the years to people who tried to expose them. In fact, shortly before his death, Prince posted a picture of himself which also contained a since-deleted message, just when you thought you were safe. And he predicted his death, not once but twice. I mean, during his final appearance at a party at Paisley Park just after his reported treatment and days before his death, Prince reportedly told attendees, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." Interesting, right? Well, the general belief was that he was definitely unalived, and a lot of people have been saying this, including celebrities like Kanye West. And when it comes to Kanye, we have had people say that Kanye West is like a modern-day Prince because he fights for the same things Prince fought for back in the day.
Nobody. This ain't independent. Yeezy's the only 100% owned, independent, black owned or whatever. I don't know if he owned after this interview, but you get what I'm saying? Like when we sign something, we don't sign someone. We're signing someone to the bigger Vivendi slave ship, to the bigger universal slave ship.
Right.
Y'all saying, all these tweets was crazy. You know why Prince gave me the song Jail? Because he liked what I did. And he's like, I like what you did with them contracts.
You said Prince gave it to you. Right.
Yeah, he definitely, guess who's going to jail tonight? You know what I'm saying? A Gemini spirit.
People don't, because he was on that tip.
Yeah.
Just people don't know. You talking about Prince.
Yeah, I'm talking
Out Prince.
And
Yeah.
Prince trying to get away from corporations, disconnect.
Prince with the slave on his
Yeah,
feet.
slave on his feet. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson, bro. This man.
I mean, if you took late 70s, 1980s Prince and plugged him into the social media era, he would have been viewed the same way Kanye West is viewed. L.A. Reid even told Access Hollywood, people love Kanye for sure, but he's great. Great, I mean on the level of Prince. But modern day, he's hip-hop. He's not the same thing. He doesn't play guitar, he doesn't play piano, he's not that kind of performer. But for hip-hop, he is a king. Okay guys, as for where Diddy comes in, if y'all recall, Diddy and Warner Group inked a joint venture deal that gave the record company a 50% stake in Diddy's Bad Boy Records label. Under the deal, Warner would market and handle digital and physical distribution of Bad Boy's catalog releases worldwide, and the label's roster of current and former artists, including Mace, Mario Winans, Notorious B.I.G., and P. Diddy himself. While speaking about the deal, Diddy even said, there have been a lot of boutique record labels that come and go, and we're still here. This has ensured for the next couple of years that we have the right financial backing, the right financial structure, the right partners to remain a force in the music industry. The very same thing Prince had been fighting his entire life was what Diddy was doing to his artists. And do we really need to go through every former Bad Boy artist Diddy has screwed over? We already know that this list could go on for days. And allegedly, this is one of the issues Prince had with Diddy. What's even worse is that just before Diddy was hit with his first lawsuit, he had started giving publishing rights back to his former artists, and that includes Biggie, who signed to Diddy's label Bad Boy Entertainment upon its launch in 1993. But his former artists were saying that Diddy had already milked everything he could, and the rights he was giving back were basically worth nothing.
And it's funny, and then you move on and you like something that he did on TikTok because he's funny. But for people that worked for 6 years of their life and entered an industry where somebody made, what, $48 million? And we didn't even see a penny of that, and we were in thongs and 5-inch heels for years of our lives on stage. And not any of it did we see. And the measly amount of change that MTV paid us, we don't even get to feel any benefit of that because they never brought the show back. And they don't play it in reruns, so we can't even get the hype of oh, hey, I remember this. They're cult classics. Let me hire her for something.
Yeah.
Like all of them got, right? Jersey Shore kids are making millions of dollars.
In addition, like I said, Prince possibly knew about the freak-offs Diddy was having and chose to stay as far away from him as possible. I mean, Jason Lee recently said that the first Diddy party he attended was at Prince's house. And the strange thing he realized was that no one was allowed to bring their own security to the party.
Yeah, the first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Who knows? Maybe after the party Diddy held at Prince's house, he realized exactly what was going on and cut ties. Now let's touch a little bit on Diddy's former bestie Jay-Z and how he was involved with Prince. Allegedly, when Prince was having all his problems with Warner, at one point he put his trust in Jay-Z because he thought that Jay-Z had the interest of his artists at heart. So he worked up a deal with Tidal, a streaming service substantially owned by Jay-Z's company, Roc Nation. But in 2016, the administration of Prince's estate authorized NPG Records to file a copyright lawsuit against Roc Nation for putting 15 Prince albums on Tidal. The lawsuit said that Tidal was only given an exclusive 90-day license for a newly recorded studio album, Hit and Run, and that Tidal had committed copyright infringement by putting 15 Prince albums up on the streaming service. The thing is, Tidal said they got a license both in writing and orally to be the first streaming outlet to distribute many of Prince's albums. But NPG, on the other hand, said that the agreement between Tidal and Prince and the equity term sheet was fabricated and backdated to appear authentic. They said that Prince certainly made a deal with Tidal for a recorded studio album titled Hit and Run, but NPG said there's no evidence that the agreement contemplated other works or that Prince was ever issued Tidal equity before the dispute arose. And Roc Nation ignored repeated requests to provide documentation or evidence of any oral and implied agreement granting such rights. So basically what people have been trying to say with this is that Jay-Z and Diddy are birds of a feather, literally two people cut from the same cloth, and they are both capable of doing the same things. According to many people, when Prince was cautioning people and artists about the machine, he was talking about people like Diddy and Jay-Z. And just like many others before and after him, he had to go. But what are your thoughts about everything Prince tried to expose about the music industry? Do you think that's what ultimately led to his untimely death? Sound off in the comments section below.
Ooh-wee, honey, I had no idea. You know what was so spooky about this? That Prince died in that elevator. Did you guys hear about the elevator? And Prince described the elevator as the devil, and he died strangely inside the devil's cage. When I tell you, this industry of music is very wicked. And once you sign your life over, it's rentals. There's no going back. Once you sold your soul, it's no going back. He is coming to collect. All right, well, comment. I want to know your thoughts about this. And is the price of fame, is the price of all this $1 billion, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Comment, and I'll see you guys on another video. Bye.